something must definitely be lost.
Yeah, but you look at the man, he's on the
not your
treadmill.
arm.
Yeah, but every day he's on the treadmill doing exactly what we don't know.
Sister's cry has been on it.
Over Crosby, I have more than you. I have more sugar than you. Sugar there.
So Crosby's a salt daddy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Senior Pia, good morning to you. Atina Dole, good morning to you. Charlie. So you said yesterday the leader said that because he's grilling, if he comes for protocol,
you cannot say you not do.
You cannot say you will not do it. When people are playing, they are looking inside the market. I should know. But let's listen to leader. Let's listen.
Grilling you doesn't mean that when you get there and you are supposed to give protocol allocation, you deny me. I'm telling you, you cannot, because yes, there is, and committee members benefited. Yes, there is something like that. When I was a defense committee member, your ranking, your members benefited. I am saying it on authority. They did. They even had more than with the MPP members. They did. I'm not. That's a fact. Kennedy Japan was the chair of the Defense and Interior Committee. They benefited. So I'm telling you that when you are giving, don't think that because I grilled you, you will not allocate. Honorable, you will. That the fact that I'm grilling you doesn't mean that when you get there and you are supposed to give protocol allocation, you deny me. I'm telling you, you cannot, because yes, there is, and committee members benefited. Yes, there is something like that. When I was a defense committee member, your ranking, your members benefited. I am saying it on authority. They did. They even had more than with the MPP members. They did. I'm not. That's a fact. Kennedy Japan was the chair of the Defense and Interior Committee.
Charlie, so the thing is been speaking about is true. Charlie,
why do we keep pretending?
So you go see the food, but if your brother not there around the food, you know go somewhere.
Why do we keep pretending that these things don't happen when they actually happen?
In the last parliament, there was a lot of talk about it. Henry Court with people that bring lists and so the thing is true.
Kind of simple.
Actually, the fact that I'm asking you questions doesn't mean if the chance for we come.
Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Even as a journalist, how many times don't you get calls from people telling you,
call this
person for me. Speak to this person. I need this job.
And you know some of it.
I need this.
Sometimes when we tell them that, Charlie, we call the people for interview. We don't call them to beg for favors. They don't understand.
I got some story. Hey, small boy like me. Someone me call me, say one works for some place. That time I be the former administration data. The guy say, make a call Miracles Abuaji. Hey, they want to meet and I know this. So
you know when they call you as a journalist, you tell them, Charlie, I'm not involved in these things. They find it strange.
Yeah.
But you see, it is the way the society is, the way all of us collectively we have turned these things. Because the person calling you knows that you know somebody in an office.
As for the knowing,
and
we
you
know
also
the
call
people.
the person.
No, 6 we know the people. But the people we call here, like maybe Rashid Rahman or Emmanuel Kuting or Dr. Ishmael Norman, or we know them, they know us. But we don't go to them with those kind of, because as soon as you go and ask for those favors,
you put yourself in a certain position.
Thank you.
But the listener doesn't know that.
No, so we are telling them now.
No,
we are informing them now.
That is why, as members of the fourth estate, there is a certain amount of influence that we all yield or wield.
Right.
All of us.
Right.
Each one of us. There's a certain amount of influence that we have that we can never take for granted. Now, where we have to then measure our professionalism or measure those kinds of social demands, social network demands against our professionalism, to say that my friend with whom I have eaten gobe at Night Market University of Ghana, or Davy Beans, the Ablajo.
Legon.
This person has called me and said that, Charlie, look, I'm looking for this job at Minerals Petroleum Commission.
Some place.
Yes, and MFA Hardcastle is the one there.
MFA Hardcastle.
I beg you, I've sent my CV. I know I'm qualified, but see, I need you to just talk to MFA.
You know, the day you call MFA or you call Eduji or you call somebody, that is the day when Eduji too has a problem. He will call you and say, this story.
That is why I'm coming to.
Go.
That is why I'm coming to.
So we will not do it. Some of us will not do it.
Your friend who is calling you does not measure his interests, his immediate aspirations,
professional
against
ethics.
your professional ethics, the likely exposure and impact that singular favor that you are going to ask for is going to do. So it is a certain it's protocol day. We cannot pretend
so let the politicians do their protocols. Don't bring it to us.
Johnny, during Henry Cortez' time when he was being vetted, so he addressed allegations of partisan favoritism in the recruitment process to the security services. He said the selections were based on merit and qualifications and not entirely party affiliation. So it was in response to minority leader Dato forcing that the processes were tainted along party lines. Now, this is what
the operative phrase there is not entirely.
Not entirely. Small.
Something small there.
So, Atufosad accused the MPP of allocating 30 recruitment slots to each of its members of parliament, raising concerns about the potential bias and lack of fairness in the process. Now, over time, President Kufuor came for us to do recruitment. I can tell you on authority that NDC MPs and NDC party people have all found a way to push their people into the service. That's a quote from Henry Corte. We did not recruit
Interior Minister.
Yes. We did not recruit them for being NDC. They were recruited because they met the eligibility criteria. We recruited them because they are Ghanaians and they are citizens of the country. And he added that if we go on like this, we'll start mentioning names one by one. Talking about the MPs who bring people to be recruited into the service.
And I'm sure they would have mentioned more than half of the members of parliament.
Can I simply ask a question? So the thing that Henry Corte said, or what he said that it's based on merit. If the cutoff age for getting into, say, the prison service, the police, army, or any of the security services is 25 years. And 6 years applies in 2021. And in 2025, he's now being put in there, they say his backlog. Would he still have been qualified?
In terms of age,
but
you may have missed the age criterion, but the rest of the criteria you meet. So should we say
the age is the first criterion?
But is the age that fundamental to the performance of your duty?
Yes.
Don't tell me that if you pick a 70-year-old man, we all know that a 70-year-old man will not apply to join the police.
Do you know?
But I'm saying,
do you know, for example,
if at the time you applied, you were 18 years old, and because of all of that shenanigans that happened, it took you 2 extra years. So then you
within a range,
20,
right?
Okay. So the fact that, let's assume that the cutoff point was 18, age 18, and the 2 additional years have come to add. So you turn 20. Have you lost your vigor? Have you lost your intelligence? Have you lost
cutoff age?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If you talk to our friends, those that we know who are there,
those are the people are asking us to talk to,
and we can't mention them. You know that given your age, your body mass index, your weight, etc., there are some exercise routines that
you can't do.
They won't allow you to do.
No, your health will not allow you to.
No, the service itself has rules that will protect you.
Okay.
So,
and that is based on health considerations.
Thank you.
Okay.
So because you are aging. But if you get in, let's say you have gotten in at age 35, like we saw the grandma who got in at some place, old woman over 40 years, we get through. The people came at me.
Continue.
I should not believe that. Now you are entering as a private soldier. A private soldier, you perform sentry duties. You stand for long hours, blah blah blah. You are already 45. What are you going to collect?
No, but I'm saying that at 40, your immediate job would not be any of the security agencies. Even at 35,
don't you see?
You won't be telling yourself that you want to be policeman at 35.
Don't you see people over 60 doing private security work, walking around, sleeping at duty posts?
Abiam, we need a song at this point.
My name is Johnny Hughes. I'm live on your radio. With 16 double cross here. DJ Abiam is the one playing the music for you. Mameya is doing our internet connectivity and operations on social media. Francis is there.
And we are all within the age limit.
Yes, please.
Just in case you want to know.
That some of you see the security man say, this one 72. No. The person will be sent say make you can't guard your house when you see that there's danger coming. The person will run to you for cover.
The place where they live, now we get some watchmen.
That be the title. Those ones are watchmen.
No, they are wearing uniform.
Their job is not to guard. Their job is to watch.
They will see and tell you.
They will see that they will tell you
is coming. So watch.
That is their job.
The watchman we get all the week. We one day I come out to the house and they come. The man of this say, I don't see who can take his phone.
Who watches the watchman? Allah. God.
Interesting.
Charlie.
You don't see. But that be investigation. The thing lost. It conduct thorough investigation.
The man is asking you.
Protect me. Protect me on my property. You ask me who.
Ghana. A country called Ghana. I tell you. So, parliamentary vetting of security ministers, a call for procedural review. Crosby, what do we know?
The Africa Center for Security and Counterterrorism, they call them ACSC. They are drawing attention to the potential security implications of conducting public parliamentary vetting for interior, defense, and national security nominees. So I'm sure they don't want it to be public. They say that in the current global security landscape, which is characterized by, of course, complex threat and sophisticated adversaries, the public disclosure of sensitive security information during parliamentary vetting processes, it poses significant national security risk. The analysis indicates that open vetting sessions could reveal some things. We'll go through them.
Let's go through.
It could reveal strategic security capabilities and limitations.
Is that what we call D notices? Okay.
It could also reveal operational methodologies and response mechanisms, as well as intelligence gathering approaches and capabilities, plus interagency coordination strategies, as well as international security partnership and arrangements. They continue to say that while they fully support democratic oversight and transparency, international best practices demonstrate that leading democracies conduct security portfolio vettings through a hybrid approach, combining public sessions for general policy matters with in-camera hearings for sensitive security discussions. They are recommending that immediate review of the current vetting protocols for security sector ministers, like we spoke about, defense, interior, national security. They're also recommending that they establish a clear guideline for classified versus public discussions. Not everything should be in the public domain. plus development of secure vetting mechanisms for sensitive security matters. Lastly, the implementation of a hybrid vetting system that balances transparency with security. So in-camera sessions as well as out of public sessions. They stand ready to provide technical expertise in developing appropriate protocols that maintain democratic accountability while protecting national security threats. This is what the ACSC
I see. Yo, I'm just wondering, Sixtus, why wasn't the Greater Accra Regional Minister asked any question with all the dirt and filth? And
I have an answer.
Yeah, tell me.
The entourage she brought.
The people
about the competence. That's what happened.
They told they told the committee that
the aura.
Soon. No, soon. Oh my God.
No,
Look,
but
look, Accra with all its problems, we have a ministerial nominee, and nobody said
appears for 10 seconds.
Somebody say, we will not ask you a question.
I was surprised because I know that the last time such a thing happened, I think it was Chairman Sabonsu, right?
Right.
Minister for
how
Parliamentary. No, the shots. No, how Kumsin they dealt with her?
Are you sure?
Kumsin was dealt with.
It was Chairman
Sabonsu.
Yes.
It was Che who came and everybody kept saying, "Oh, leader, we know you. Oh, leader, we know you. Oh, leader, we know you." And you see, some of those things cannot completely be discounted or condemned. Particularly if you look at the portfolio. So let me now compare Chairman Sabonsu's portfolio, what he was going in for, and what Honorable Linda Oklu has been nominated for.
Yeah,
you see, there's a sharp contrast there. Chairman Sabonsu was going for Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, right? And facing a panel of parliamentarians to ask him whether he understands the structure of the House, the rules, the needs and wants of the House and all of those things. And everybody around the table at the time agreed that this man, with his experience...
The man was going to be chairman of the business committee. Do you want your question to be heard in Parliament? Do you know what it means? You're going to ask him a question.
The point I'm making, bottom line, is that you could vouch for his credibility, his credentials, his knowledge, his expertise as we. Now compare that to the regional minister.
Okay. Who we don't know.
No,
we have not
in all honesty, we don't know.
Right.
She hasn't been a minister before. She's a 2-term, 3-term. She's a 3-term MP. Right. This is her 3rd term.
That's right.
Anna, yes. This is her 3rd term.
This is the 12th year.
So we are now meeting her. She's been in the House all this while. At the committee level, we did not get to meet her because we didn't see her action at the committee level. We have not known her within the media space. She's not your typical member of parliament, lawmaker, or politician who would you would hear speaking on sanitation issues or on development issues.
So you don't know her position on
we don't know her position on anything. Then she comes before you and you do 9 seconds. Come on.
Accra is dirty, it's stinky, it's dark.
There are a lot of holes. I mean,
look, let's talk to Emmanuel Kuti. He's the executive director of the Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism. Mr. Kuti, good morning.
Johnny, good morning. Thanks for having me, and good morning to your panelists and your listeners as well.
Let's begin from the appointment that were made from the presidency, National Security Coordinator, and then we'll come to Parliament. What do you make of them? Do you think that they are fit for purpose? Did they tick the boxes for you?
Well, after the qualifications of the persons involved, I have no doubt about their capacity to deliver. If you look at the National Security Coordinator, he's a career security personnel. He's still a policeman. He was the ADC to the current president. But if you look at his CV and what he has done over the period when he left as the ADC, he has been in academia. He was a course instructor at the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Training Center. And I think he did some other work overseas by way of peacekeeping and stuff like that. And I think that it's a good pick for the role. But people are questioning why it is the former ADC and no other person. That is why we talk about precedent. You know, when we're all crying about family and friends, family, government in the past administration,
Right.
voices of
Sunrise on 3 FM, the best in the morning.
concern were all quiet. Nobody was emboldened to speak. And that's why I see you in person as one of the best journalists in the country. Because you stood your ground and said what was right. And as a young man, you did so because you know the future of this country lies in our hands. And I'll congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
But there was something that happened when the NDC won power that some of us as security watchers are not happy. And that shows how over-politicized our security agencies have become.
Tell me about it.
You know, the gentleman didn't get promotion in the last 8 years.
Right. The DCOP, you mean?
Yeah, the
Right.
the DCOP. He was ACP.
Yes, for a long
But
time.
as soon as NDC won power, he was promoted. And at that period, you know, before you can promote somebody to that level, or if you are moving from a different rank to another, the police council
Right.
ought to have sat
Right.
to do some background recommendation. None of
That's
those were done. So I think that we need to purge our security services of political interference and make sure that power is not in the hands of one single individual, like the IGP. And another concern, because the IGP issue came, was the unilateral promotion of the CDS to a 3-star general. That's a full general. You know, this is the first of its kind in the country. So I would have thought that they would have used international best practices and we don't expose it to the executive to abuse it. Because for a full-star general, I would have expected that Parliament should have confirmed his nomination and to give full meaning to the stars on his
In fact, the CDS now is a 4-star general.
Yeah, 4-star, sorry.
Right.
I wanted to say 4-star, said 3-star. You know, it's the first of its kind. Sorry.
That's right. That's
For
right.
correcting me. So those are some of the shortcomings. I think that the dispensations that we are in the democracy, power doesn't belong to individual appointed authority, but the people. That's why the president's power is driven from the people. You see the consequences of elections. The people's voices spoke. That is why a particular party is no longer in power and another comes. So if we are doing some of these things, we must make sure we clothe it with some legal powers, then we don't expose it to abuse. Then if you look at the interior and the defense minister's designate, I think that they have done so well in their respective fields. Mutaka, like this in Parliament, has been one of the longest serving member of Parliament. And if you watch Mutaka on the appointment committee when he was there, he was one of the individuals that asked critical questions that borders on relevance on the person's suitability for the various ministries such people were so nominated for. You see that the current appointment committee, we are missing a lot of experienced legislators that can ask questions of relevance. You look at the vetting or the appointment committee of this year and compare it to subsequent years. And the way questions are asked, sometimes we want to, especially the two sectors we are talking about, defense and interior, that's not relevant. And at certain points too, you see that you are pushing the nominee to even inadvertently expose some of our national security secrets that should have been classified.
Sunrise on 3
Because
FM,
these people will go
best
to
in the
that land
morning.
because they are before the national TV and everybody's watching across the country.
Right.
So they don't want to appear as if they don't have knowledge in the subject matter ministries they have been posted to. That's why we came out with the presser that if we could have a procedural review about how we vet ministers that are managing these critical national security institutions, especially the defense, interior, and national security. If you look at the advanced countries where they use best practices, they practice the hybrid system where you can have public vetting mainly on general policy and an in-camera vetting because of national security concern.
I see. Let me bring in your brother Adib Sani, who is joining us on the phone line. Adib, Dasaba. Kaula.
Alafi.
So now let's talk about the conversation on protocols. Yesterday I heard the minority leader in the vetting talk about the fact that I'm grilling you doesn't mean that when the opportunity for protocols come, you should not give me a chance. The place of protocol in our security architecture, should we part from that tradition or should we continue on that path?
First of all, let me say very good morning to you. Well, is that Mr. Coutin on the other line?
That's him. That's your brother.
Because of chop money, he's avoiding me. But I would find a way of extorting that money from him. I'm entitled to that extortion.
So you have to collect it,
Anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so, the security chiefs keep denying that there is, nothing like protocol. I remember some time ago, Honorable Dominic Nitiwo spoke about it, and he was quite emphatic, Johnny, that there's nothing like that. Well, it's not true. There's something like that. Within the recruitment frame, we have a lot of different entities with their protocol list, and it cuts across the security services. It will be very disingenuous and very dishonest to the people of Ghana if I sit on your network and tell them that there's nothing like protocol.
Right.
Almost everybody who matter has a protocol list. The politicians, especially the parliamentarians, members of the executive, even the traditional authority,
right,
businessmen, and in the end, you recruit people who shouldn't have any business, in that security service. I know of, it's not all I can say, but I know of certain square pegs that were forced into round holes, and in the end, it was disastrous because those individuals were not supposed to be there, and it affected, where they even came from, and a whole lot of things happened. I wouldn't be able to say that on radio. But what I can say, without mincing words, is protocols do exist. I remember some years ago, some individuals were recruited to join the police service. After going through all of the training regime, it was later found out that the certificates they provided is not authentic. And they were asked to withdraw after we had equipped them on how to handle weapons. Okay? So if we cannot do something as basic as verifying the authenticity of certificates, what more background checks can we do? Number two, an individual who was recruited into one of the security services was now caught after he has started, he's gone through the training, he's been posted, and he was now caught after a year by a certain intelligence agency asking for information because, according to them, they were doing background checks, and that should have been done before he was recruited, a belated one. And it is very difficult to say no to some of these powerful individuals who provide the list.
Right.
And, when we do that, we are destroying the security services. In the end, you would have persons who can't say no to 5,000 Ghana cedis or 10,000 Ghana cedis to do despicable things against the state. You might have people with criminal backgrounds. You might have persons with no emotional intelligence. Any small thing, an individual insults them, they bring out a gun and start firing. So we need to be very, very careful, because before we'll be able to be consistent with international best practices so far as security management is concerned, we should have the right people for the right job. Unfortunately, protocol list is killing the security service.
I see. Let me bring your brother in. Kotin, let me ask you this about regional balance, for example. And there have been concerns about ensuring that we have regional balance so that our police, military, prisons, and other security agencies are not just concentrated around a certain tribe or region. What do you say?
Well, Johnny, I think that is on paper. In reality, it doesn't exist. There have been a lot of allegations, especially against some of the heads of our security agencies, that particular tribes are even targeted within the service. And you recall Agozo and ACP, right? Mr. Agozo.
And
he's yes, and he's right after another thing that even within the services, Ghana Police Service to be specific, this very IGP targets certain tribes, sit on their promotion and stuff like that. Look, Johnny, I think Antonio Markins, the minority leader, this is not the first time he had alleged that they received protocols.
Right.
And that is against our laws. And they make the laws. Is that not it? So I think the appointment committee needs to patch themselves of what the minority leader had alleged not once, twice. Than merely looking at a social media post of Oliver and want to hang him. I think the minority leader himself should be hauled before the privileges committee to substantiate what he was saying. Because this kind of patronage doesn't help us. You make laws for us, and you want that those laws must be obeyed. At the same time, you go behind the scenes and get protocol lists. And most politicians even boast on live TV as part of their achievement for their constituents, the number of people they have been able to bring to the security services. And I think this is what we sincerely have to look at. And if you look at it in its entirety, Johnny, what we require now is security sector reform.
Right.
Because where we are sitting now, we are not sitting well. And even if you look at our security infrastructure, Johnny, we're journalists. Let's ask ourselves, what is even there for us to classify as our national security stuff? Everything is in the public domain. Look, most of our communications and data are stored on network infrastructures outside this country, Johnny. So in that space, what are we really protecting? Nothing. Look at how parliamentary subcommittees organizes their meetings. It's on WhatsApp groups they call for such meetings. In most cases, they even do discussions on WhatsApp groups. do we know the back end of where these communications go? No. Even today, Johnny, Gmails, is that not the preferred email that government agencies use?
Right.
So how are we protecting our national security? You recall in the U.S., Hillary Clinton, one of the reasons to me, and I believe same could be true, why she lost the presidency was her preference for what?
Right.
Private emails to what government has designated for her to use because of national security concerns. So what we are seeing, it is the hen or the chicken coming home to roost. And I think that the minority leader needs to be hauled before the privileges committee to answer some of these things, because it's in clear breach of our constitution. So they should not just look at the post of Oliver and feel that because he can be hanged, they are targeting. Because what is the basic principle of justice? He who calls for justice must equally come with a clear pair of hands.
Right.
Just imagine Oliver comes under the Worcester Actors, how are they going to convict him?
I see.
Once there's a Worcester, you can convict him. So his invitation today, I think that is the diversional tactics, and the minority should get serious with the job they are doing.
I see.
And ask relevant questions to the sector ministers, because the country, we are not sitting well. We are not there to go and play. You are talking about the Accra Regional Minister, how they met. Look at Accra. So is the minority and the majority telling us that there are no challenges within Accra?
Adib, let me bring you into this conversation and ask you about, I've always had a concern about national security people using their gota to point at meat in pots at chop bars and point to pork and that. And for me, it tells us how we have reduced the quality and the sanctity that the security architecture must have. How do we purge ourselves to get back the former glory that we used to have?
Well, let me first of all say the appointment of ACP Agbozo is one giant step in the right direction, because what it seeks to do is to streamline the recruitment regime, the ranking regime, and basically put in order the hierarchy within the national security. In the past, what we do is just to, mass recruit party boys. All you do, your qualification is your ID card, your party ID, and you are in. As a result, we recruited the wrong persons who think the easiest way to make money is to be a national security agent. Most of them who are supposed to operate covertly hold their quotas, show it every. In fact, come to your office. I remember some time ago, someone came to my office within the free national security. He wanted a favor that was not related to national security.
Right.
But he needed to prove to me that he has arrived. He's a big man because he's a national security agent, And these guys, in some cases, intimidate and engage in sometimes fraudulent activities, So it is a means for them to activate, to enhance their criminal behavior if we recruit the wrong persons. In the U.S., for instance, it is treason to expose a security operative. He's supposed to be covert, then you expose him. It is treason. You can go into prison for a long time, but here they proudly do it themselves because they want everybody to know where they are coming from, which shouldn't be the case. So it all boils down to the recruitment regime. We need to sanitize, that space and ensure that the right persons fit or well cut for the job are recruited into these, security agencies.
Great. Cotton, I'll take your final thoughts, 30 seconds. What do you leave us with?
Well, let me just chip in on what my brother just spoke about. You see, after recruitment, party boys and girls recruitment into our security services is not going to stop anytime soon until we do security reforms. And when you ask them about the voter system, I think as a government or as a country, we need to start a conversation about how our IT infrastructure and then communication protocols can be overhauled. I think we have that capacity. We shouldn't be lazy on our desks and reason beyond our capacity and bring innovations to our security agencies. Look at Burkina Faso. Look at the good work the military junta is doing in Burkina Faso. How can't we have control over our IT infrastructure and communication protocols? Looking at the kind of investment, if you look at audited public accounts of Ministry of Communications and other related agencies, and we're still at square one, and our IT infrastructures and network and data store in stuff outside the country. Finally, what I will leave you with is that it is the honeymoon period of this government. They must remember, Johnny, that good journalists like you and many others will not leave them after the 100 days and they don't go into overdrive to solve the challenges within our security agencies. And one is about the welfare, two is about leadership of our security agencies. And it's so troubling that the police personnel are crying for the removal of the IGP. And the last government didn't listen, and this government is not listening. And if you go and look at how the security agencies voted, especially the police, about 90% voted for NDC because they needed leadership changes at the top. And the current leaders that the current government have appointed to the various security agencies, we are watching. And for us, our duty is to our country and God, and we will not mind words when things are not going right.
Emmanuel Cotton, we're grateful for your time. Now, let's go and speak to a man who served with the colors, former Chief of the Defense Staff, General Nunu Mensah. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I'm only a brigadier general. Today we are 4-star generals.
First of all, what do you think of that? The 4-star generalship. What do you think of that?
Which one?
The 4-star general. What do you think of that?
Star.
Right.
Well, the same job I did it with 1 star. So, I don't want to comment on this. I've left more than how many years ago? Since 1982.
Right.
Well, I put it 3 years ago. I'm old-fashioned now. But if it is fashionable to, promote, we have too many, I would say too many, a lot of star general, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. But probably the armed forces are growing and large. I'm not too sure whether I'm aware about this.
Right.
I'm outside the military, so I wouldn't be able to comment fairly on the promotions.
I hear you, sir. Now, you have seen your new defense minister, hopefully if he goes through the approval process and the president swears him in. What do you think of this new minister?
Well, my phone isn't behaving properly, but I believe you are asking me about the new
minister for defense.
Which Dr.
Omani Boama, that's right.
I know him. I believe, hasn't he been a minister before? I believe
he has been a minister before.
Minister, yes. I know, but I don't know whether he became a full-scale minister. I'm not too sure. But, we have had many ministers, civilian and very few military, but mostly civilian, since independence. Nkoma had Mr. Kofi Baku's father.
That's right.
He was Minister for Defense and did the job pretty well. There have been quite a number of them. And I think mostly civilians, the military have been very few. Because, we had a military government for some time, and each time the military commander that took power, succeeded. Of course, he himself didn't need to serve under anybody. So we weren't actually appointed military men as ministers of defense until one or two occasions. So far, I think that they performed well. Dr. Adukufo was minister, I believe, of defense. There was also the current or the young one who left, Mr. Former Minister for National Security. He was also
right, Kandapa.
So it's nothing new to us. Just that it's a little different from the ordinary ministerial appointments in the sense that you are dealing with professionals. But I believe since Dr. Baneboama is a medical doctor, and and a third appointment, I think, as a deputy minister.
No, he was a minister actually of communications back then.
Yes.
So
we have experience of this.
Right.
It's not different from any other ministerial appointment. Just that you are dealing with professionals. I'm talking about people who have been trained and know what to do. And I remember I had a problem with my minister of defense.
Right.
It's 1979. And we didn't get on because the minister thought that he was the boss of the military, and I said I was the boss. And the president was my commander-in-chief. And we never got on until I was fired and I left the military. So, it's very difficult institution to get on with. It's new to him. And if I were him, assuming you were posted me to the Minister of Health and I'm a Minister for Health, and I'm dealing with professors and doctors of surgeons and all kinds of manners. I won't go and throw my weight around and say, I know what I'm doing. So you have to go and sit down and listen. Listen carefully. And
I see. General, let me ask you this quickly. The conversation about protocol security officers, people who get in without the right or requisite qualification, what do you think about it, and how did we get there anyway? Hello, sir? I think we lost General on the phone line. Let's find him and have a conversation with him on the security. Welcome back.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes, sir. That is Mr. Hughes.
I think by now, in our country, nothing works perfectly. It's terrible. The line just goes for that anyone.
I apologize on their behalf.
You're asking me about protocol.
Yes. Security officers who get in without the right qualification.
My background is there was no protocol as far as I was concerned. My father's fisherman, going to, what protocol, whom do you know from a fishing village at Winneba? Nobody. It's my own brain and my own effort that carry me to whatever level I go. It's not today, but I think it's despicable. You have destroyed the military. You have not only the military, but any other institution that you send people in there from the NPP or NGC, you are destroying it. You have to get professionals. And when you get in there, either the military or the police or whatever institution you are talking about, you serve the nation. You may be appointed during President Akufo-Addo's time or during President Mahama's time. The majority goes through him to the state. You don't go there carrying the political badge. I'm an NPP man. That is terrible. It's something I don't agree at all. Are you with me?
I'm with you. I'm listening to you, sir.
Yes, so I don't support it. I've never believed in protocol. I've never believed in it. It is wrong. And it should be discouraged. Let people go in there with their on their own effort, and then the military. In my time, I'm talking about the 1960s, early 60s, when Nkrumah was the prime minister, then the president, and so on. Things were different.
Right.
There was no way protocol would have. It didn't exist. It didn't exist. The only way, only area that there was any protocol was in the cocoa industry, where farmers, wars were poor and they couldn't move along. And there was this concept that you were awarded, to be able to study if you had a head to study. But that's because your father was the minister or chief of defense staff or what, so you have protocol allocation. That is
Right.
not, that should not be encouraged.
Now let's talk about these new culture of people going around announcing to everybody that they are from national security and they want to throw their weight about with their goaters and the rest. What do you think about it, sir?
No, I mean, all these things are new to me. I mean, I spend most of my time with national security. You know, I was director of military intelligence.
Right.
In fact, when I came back from there, from Britain, 1963, I served most of my time in the President Kwame Nkrumah's office, but I was actually in military intelligence. And you know, we didn't go around throwing. I mean, I don't know where this came from. I mean, this kind of thing started and where it came from, but it's not right. I mean, for a security officer, it must be self-discipline. You don't go about throwing your weight around.
In the morning.
You know, so we have. I mean, for the moment, I've got a job to do. I mean, we must assist him to clean up the society. You know, there's too much rot in our society.
Is that cleanup going to be easy?
Pardon?
The cleanup you're talking about, is it going to be easy?
It can be cleaned up by example. If you want to change society, you change with yourself. If you change with yourself, I mean, my children behave like me. Apart from having genetical, things like they took from me. They also watch me doing things and they copy. Even chicken, I don't believe I have a brain. When they have chicks and they find the food, they give it to the chicks to eat. And then when the chicks are learning, how they learn, I can't understand, but they do. You know, so I would not, I mean, I've spent some time with the KGB, with the CIA. I've been everywhere, you know, studying both the military and in intelligence. And it's wrong for you to throw your way around and say, I am this. But if you get the top people behaving properly and insisting that those following them behave the same way, it will change. It will take some time to change. And it has to change because it can't go on like this.
Brigadier General Joseph Nunu Mensah, thank you very much. We're grateful for your time.
Thank you, my dear friend. Mr. Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to you.
Morning to you, sir. And that's the former Chief of the Defense Staff of the Republic of Ghana.